We on? Okay. This customer came in with a problem with the Evap system with code P0456, which is a leak or not venting properly. Don't know the exact definition of the code, but it's basically a leak in the system, gross leak or not venting properly. Prior to bringing it in, the customer saw the code, went to AutoZone or wherever it was, got the code out of it and said, okay, well, it could be this, it could be this. Well, they spent money on it, they bought a purge control valve for it. And I always tell people, don't listen to the code, because the code does not tell you what's wrong with it. It just gives the technician an area to go to figure out what the problem is, period. That's it. So, there's no way to possibly diagnose an Evap system code without a smoke machine and the knowledge to know what you're looking at. Well, she brought it in and still had the code after she purchased a purge control valve. That wasn't the problem with it. I was looking at the fuel tank pressure sensor voltage, which was almost 5 volts. That's reference voltage, which the computer puts out a 5-volt reference voltage to several different sensors. Several different sensors, including the fuel tank pressure sensor. Well, if it's unhooked, the fuel tank pressure sensor is unhooked, it's going to show 5 volts. If there's a break in the wire, it's going to show 5 volts. It's not receiving a signal back to the computer from the pressure sensor. Automatically, I know there's going to be an open, so we told the customer that we've got to drop the fuel tank, see whether it's a connector going to it or it's the sensor itself. Turns out this sensor right here, this purge control sensor, was plugged in, and sure enough, it was showing 5 volts. Blowing into it or sucking on it, or blowing into it, the pressure should increase, and it should be showing 1.4 volts at an idle with the gas cap off or venting. It's showing 5 volts, which is way off. That would mean that it's major vacuum going into the system. Blowing into it, it should go down to closer to 0 volts, which it did nothing when I blew into it or sucked on it. Putting the pressure control or pressure sensor in there, and everything was fine. Well, a normal shop or technician would probably say, okay, well, there's a problem, it's fixed, code's taken care of. Well, I'm just showing this as the importance of verification. This purge control solenoid, I've got the smoke machine hooked up to it. I'm going to start smoking it right now. It's hooked up to the connect. If the purge cap, first off, the purge control is closed normally until the computer commands it to be open. So this one here is not plugged up, so it's going to be closed. Introduce smoke to the system and focus in on that, Randy. We got smoke coming out of it. There we go. That thing should be closed. Okay, so it's not closed, obviously. So back up just a second. Let me jump back in here. This purge control valve right here is brand new. It's defective. You can get defective parts. This is an AC Delco, which I always advocate for putting original parts in there. This is a house brand. This right here is what should not be. This is what should be happening. This thing is closed. That means it's working properly. This brand new purge control valve is defective. So this takes care of the problem. And as you see, focus in on the liters per minute. Okay, this here should be dropping down all the way to 0, because I'm filling the system right now with smoke. With that system closed, the vent control solenoid I have shut right now, I do believe. It's not venting. Okay, so it's shut. This pressure should drop down to 0. This is liters per minute. This is how much smoke is filling the system. It goes down to 0. We know within 5-minute period, we know that our system is okay as long as all voltages are looking right, and if it doesn't go down to 0 within a 5-minute period, we know we're going to have a leak somewhere. If it stops somewhere between there, we know there's going to be a leak somewhere. So this is basically the importance of verification in diagnosing a system. This is where we at the car doctor make sure that even though we found a fuel tank pressure sensor that was defective, we fix that part. A lot of people would say, okay, the problem's fixed, let it go. We don't do that here, because what's going to happen next, if that isn't taken care of, if we didn't find that customer's going to come back to us and say, well, we misdiagnosed the system. And it's going to be hard to tell a customer, well, you know, we figured it was fixed, and now you got a purge control. Well, they're not going to think that they're going to think that we misdiagnosed the problem, period. So, and another aspect of what I'm trying to tell you is, don't ever go by the trouble code and figure that you're going to fix any problem just by a trouble code, because all that does is tell a technician where the problem is, the area of the problem. It does not tell you what's wrong with the vehicle and what the problem is. So as you can see now, focusing on that, see it's going down. It's going to take a little while to hit zero now that it's already, because it's got a 33-gallon tank in it. It's only about 30% full, so it's taking a little while for this system to fill. So, but it's going to go down to zero, and if it doesn't go down to zero, then we got a problem. But I got a real good feeling it is. It's going to take a little while from here. So that's basically what I'm getting at here. And as far as also diagnosing the system, an Evap system, it is 100% impossible to repair an Evap system without a smoke machine. Yes, you can find a problem, but you can't 100% know that when you let that car go to the customer, 100% that car's not coming back for a problem if you don't have a smoke machine, because you cannot verify a repair without the proper equipment to do so. So I know it's taking a little longer to go down, but it's, unless the vent valve opened up, which it didn't, it's going to go down there eventually within a 5-minute period. It's slowly going down because it's taking this period of time to fill the tank up. As you can see, focus down on the purge control again. As you can see, no smoke is coming out of that purge control solenoid, which now we know it is good because they're normally closed until the computer commands it to come on. And we're just waiting another second, or well, maybe 30 seconds. Hopefully the thing will hit zero, and it'll be within the 5-minute period of time, and we'll be good to go. Anything else I'm missing, Randy?
No, I think you covered the bases there, sir.
It's so important to verify a repair, so you don't look like an idiot if the vehicle comes back, and there's no excuse to tell the customer we'll go drive it for a couple of days, see if the code comes back on, maybe we got another problem. There's a lot of places that will do that, and it's, to me, it's completely unacceptable. You don't want a customer coming back for any reason whatsoever. If it turns out that there's a different problem with it, well, at least you know that you've got your ends covered. And also, when we do our repairs to it, I save the information, the data that comes out of the computer into a file on my scanner, to where I can actually have backup, knowing that, hey, look, this is where the problem was. This is showing you that it is fixed if the customer were to ask for proof of some sort. But we just do this to do the better job, 100% complete repair, and so we have 100% satisfaction out of our customers. This machine's not going to call me a liar, but it's going to go down to zero. I'm pretty sure, unless we've got another leak that I've missed, but I don't believe so. It's just going to take a little while. There we go. Okay, down to zero. Within the 5-minute period, we know for 100% sure that this system is repaired and it is not coming back for the same problem. Come and see the car doctor, because we're not going to give you we're going to give you the 100% diagnosis, because you don't want to be coming back, and we don't want to look like idiots when you do come back. Thank you.